evening. Welcome to another episode of Blood, Sweat, and Tears presented by the Fantasyholics Podcast Network. With us, as always, is Brian Brunner, Castle Black, Zach Rom, wide receiver one room, and Mr. Vito here. Man, we had some NFL football this weekend, bookended by two 10-7 shit shows on Thursday and Monday. In between, we had a scoregami, we had a snow game. The Browns tried to play football again. I think J.J. McCarthy's broken beyond repair. It was an interesting week. I lost 3 matchups by less than 5 points. Man, it was someone else other than me. Please, me and football aren't friends right now.
Yeah, no to Brian's Eagle, but not how I wanted to end this week of football, going 3-0 end of third quarter. I should have, and I'm glad I did. Like last week, we did a free Fubo and make a free trial direct game because we use YouTube TV, and we're regretting it now just because that game. I mean, it got a little exciting in the fourth, but it seemed like a defensive game, but not like. It seemed like the quarterbacks were trying to throw to the other team more than their own players for the first 2-3 quarters. So it's an odd set of games. I'm sure better from Brian here about Eagles yesterday, but it was a very interesting football.
So normally I have to stay up until the last play of Monday night to make sure my my league of record game is either won or lost. Well, that wasn't the case this week. I did well. I locked up my win well before Monday Night Football, which was nice. But I had to wait for the very last fucking snap of Monday Night Football to see if my Eagles won. Because for some crazy fucking reason, instead of just running the clock out, Nick Sirianni decided to throw a bomb attempt to a double-covered A.J. Brown down the field and then give the Packers a chance to come back and get a tying field goal. So, like I said, as always, my ass was on the East Coast, was up until whatever time Monday Night Football ended, sweating bullets. Yeah. This time it just happened to be about my Eagles. But on the upside, they won. My favorite player in the world, Devontae Smith, had the what ended up being the game-winning touchdown. Hell of a catch. He's just surpassed A.J. Brown at this point. Period. Yeah. Like I heard a lot of the bigger pods and everything bring that up today. That they're ranking Slim ahead. I mean, how can you? He's going into this week. I think he was the wide receiver 18 on the season, and he probably moved up a little bit, having the good game on Monday night. But yeah, it was a brutal fucking game. Like somewhere somebody had just Devontae Smith and Josh Jacobs, and they were happy as a clam at the end of the game. Everybody else who needed something from anybody else, I put it in the group chat. Man, I needed Jordan Love to have just a basic 13 to 15 point game, and it would have won me 3 leagues, and I lost all 3 of those leagues because he got 7 fantasy points. Fucking 7.
I was texting Nick Sirianni and Big Dom late. I'm like, dude, I need anything from A.J. Brown. Like, literally, it's a PPR. He could catch the ball and go nowhere, and it will still help me. Didn't happen. Just flat out didn't happen.
Thankfully, I had no leagues that were in the fate. Well, there was one league that I lost by a little over 1 point because Hurts pulled it together towards the end. But that's a league I'm rebuilding in, so I didn't care if I won or lost on that one. Otherwise, yeah, I had everything wrapped up even Sunday night, which was very nice. But I mean, look out for our rankings. The Fantasyholics will be updating Dynasty rankings. Those will be posted later this week sometime, especially since some leagues are starting to get into their trade deadlines. I know I have 2 or 3 leagues that have trade deadlines this week, but that's a week or 2 early for some. But we want to get those out before your trade deadlines are in. And to Brian's point, I'll have to revisit it some, but currently I changed it, and I have Devontae Smith, wide receiver 21 for my Dynasty rankings. It's at 24. I had to drop A.J. Brown below Slim Reaper just because of production, because of output, just for age. It goes somewhere else where he'd be the receiver to, with no other target competition, maybe. But yeah, I mean, you can't discount what Devontae Smith is doing right now, and he's acting like the wide receiver one on the Eagles.
I mean, it's the eye test. If you showed an alien species like, hey, this is the game of football, and who on this field's the best pass catcher, it's not even fucking close.
Yeah.
It's AJ's not. He's not getting open. It's weird because the couple games where he has flashed this year, he's looked exactly like himself. He's looked big, strong, fast, muscling the ball from people, getting enough separation, and then so many games like last night where dude's just I don't know if he's not putting the effort in or they're not looking his way or I love the Eagles and football in general, but I'm not like breaking down the all 22, so I can't get that deep about it. But all I know is Lim is like the wide receiver 17 or 18, and AJ Brown ain't that this year.
There's nothing to break down on the all 22. AJ Brown's just on the sidelines reading a book. Apparently, he's just doing flat out nothing.
Talking to Big Dom.
Big Dom.
Yeah. And it was just all around some exciting football that we'll get into.
Except Thursday and Monday, no.
Well, even to some extent, Sunday night was it was a game to watch. It was better, but still not amazing bookends. But we had some great games, some high-scoring games, some phenomenal games. Overseas going into overtime, and
overseas overtime. I like that. Trademark that.
That, yeah. But I'm going to go into some injuries first. Kind of talking about what either injuries have happened or ones to expect coming off, ones we're wondering what the hell's going on. So there's a couple injuries that we want to discuss before diving into the week that we didn't want to write about. Got to go from there. And as usual, feel free to drop a comment if you have any questions or sit if you want us to mention anything or give our opinion on trades or anything coming up. Feel free to go ahead and drop that. We'll gladly jump into that as we go along. But there's a couple injuries. First off, the number 2 draft pick, Travis Hunter, injury going on IR for the year. This fiend both sides of the ball player all of a sudden is
on no sides of the ball.
Yeah. Question, body not both sides of the ball. Is it just so much wear and tear because he's trying to do so many things? Is he all of a sudden drop off offensive side and just defensive or whatnot? Like if you're in an IDP league, you don't care what Travis plays either way. But for those who aren't playing IDP league, maybe are you starting to worry if you have any Travis Hunter shares right now?
I'm not worried. I mean, obviously it did not go as planned, but all I know is that they said they were going to get him involved on offense. They had kind of messed around for the first 7-8 weeks of the season, experimenting, so to speak, seeing what works, what doesn't. And then they said we're going to get him the ball, and they got him a 8-catch, 100-yard game with a touchdown before their bye, and then we literally never got to see him again. So
yeah,
he's a major buy low for me. I'm at that time of the year where I'm scouring through my massive portfolio of dynasty leagues and on the teams that look like they're not competing. I'm throwing out offers with older players for dudes like Travis Hunter and just anybody that's underperforming or on IR and young especially. So he's definitely a buy for me. I don't think we can even take a ton from his rookie season. I mean, he did well and for one game, and they didn't really give him a chance until that one game. He's a buy for me.
Now, how much are you for, or what are you giving up for him? Are you giving a lot of people are saying skip the 6 class, so are you giving a 27 first for him? Are you giving a mid to late 26 first? Like, what's just a general value for people? What's the value you put at Travis Hunter right now when you're saying trying to buy him low?
I don't even know if you're going to get him low. I feel like fair value for him would be like a later first. If it's maybe it's mid if you're really, really in on Hunter. Maybe if it's a mid, you get a little something back. You get Hunter in a third back if you're giving up a mid. But I'm very comfortable with like a later first, no doubt about it. The dude's talent is ridiculous, and they moved all those assets to move up and get him. So I definitely feel like he's going to be a major part of their game plan going forward. Match that in with the fact that Brian Thomas looked like he forgot how to play football. So I mean that matters too. So yeah, I'm definitely still in on Hunter to that level. He's a piece that I'm trying to buy on teams that aren't competing right now for sure. Don't overpay. Don't be given a high first or a first and a good player, but I think he's worth buying for that later first range.
What about you, Patrick?
Hopefully Shane Waldron's out of there sooner than later, or Shane Waldron just has a better playbook, utilizes Hunter a little bit better. Parker Washington just steps right into that offense and is getting 10, 12 targets a game and looks like a superstar. I was thinking about it this weekend watching a lot of the games, and I'm guilty of it as anybody. I know that we look for rookies to contribute immediately. We're spoiled by the Justin Jeffersons and the Jamar Chase and the Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.'s rookie year. It takes time, and I saw it with Jaden Higgins had a really good game. Like,
He did.
Quentin Johnson's just coming around. People might be giving up on, like, people like me. There are people out there that expect rookies to hit immediately. There are people that might be giving up on Hunter. Like, he was a gimmick after all. He's hurt already. I wouldn't trade any 2027s though. That's supposed to be like the cream de la creme draft. I'd move a 26 first and like my flex guy, or I'm not a good trader. I wouldn't move any 27 picks though.
Yeah.
Hoarding all of those.
That's for reference. When I redid my wide receiver rankings for Dynasty, I put at wide receiver 35, so a flex play wide receiver. And I'm gonna throw an interesting here for trading for Travis Hunter. Is I'm going to look to see where the person drafted him at, because he's so polarizing in value. If someone drafted him, a normal PPR league as the 103. He's not going to be accepting a late second or a late first to move on from Hunter right now, more than likely. But there were some leagues you saw him go in the 107 to 110 range, depending on how the league really felt about him, that, a late first is going to get it. Maybe you can get a third back in return or something. So I would send probably an early second or, an early second and a late second maybe for Hunter. But I'm looking at where he was drafted to see. I know it's, usually once the draft happens, you don't care. But with such a polarizing player, that's kind of where I might be or what I might do for Hunter right now.
Another thing is if you can find him somewhere on a team that's actually contending, that's a much easier buy.
Yeah.
Trying to talk a rebuilder out of Travis Hunter is kind of weird because you're a rebuilder trying to negotiate with another rebuilder. It just doesn't really work. But there's some contending teams that have them. That's going to be a much easier buy because you can float them one of the vets that you have on your team that's going to help them with their championship push. That's a much easier deal than trying to negotiate with some other rebuilding team. For sure.
Yeah.
And real quick, before we check the rest of the list, I did have to vet the position of the Eagles receivers on the year. AJ Brown is wide receiver 39 on the year, which is actually higher than I thought I was going to see. And this is full PPR, no weird bonuses or anything extra, just a regular PPR league. So wide receiver 39 for AJ Brown, and then after another nice game on Monday night, Devontae Smith is up to wide receiver 14 on the year.
Oof, that's even a bigger discrepancy than I thought.
Yep. And the Eagles did have their bye week too, so he's not one of these teams that's he's higher overall because he didn't have a bye. So wide receiver 14 with a bye in there, and recall the Eagles had a brutal passing start to the year. I mean, they were talking
Horrible.
like horrible. The first 2 games they didn't do anything. So that's just how
Terrible.
he's been since they already they started factoring him in more.
Yeah. On a Garrett Wilson, almost seems like the Jets had to move him back a little early. With his injury now, we're expected to have him out for another 3 to 4 weeks, which means if you're having him, as some people expected, him to be a big contributor to your playoff or playoffs or team this year, he's someone that while he's been healthy, he's been good, but he's been out not, and he's out for 3 to 4 weeks, a potential IR candidate. You think the Jets even bring him back? Maybe, week 16, 17, but say, okay, we don't take a quarterback, whoever they're starting. We traded all our assets. Why bring him back until week 16 this? Make sure he's actually really healthy. Like, what are your thoughts on this injury, and what are you doing with him on your teams contending to rebuild him?
An instant buy now candidate for me for rebuilders. It's a guy that I'm on PTO all this week from work, which is pretty lovely. I'm going to get a lot of fantasy stuff done. So I am going to, I was already starting to do it, go through, find my teams that aren't contending, send out offers. And a guy like Garrett Wilson, he's probably on a contender. Give me all the Garrett Wilson. Let me throw you Cortland Sutton and a second, or a Cortland Sutton and a Kamani Vidal or something like that. That's going to be irrelevant to me next year or 2 years from now in my, my future hopes for that team. So massive buy now for me. If I do have him on a contender, I'm looking at it in the exact opposite way. If he was part of my contending team and somebody offered me Cortland Sutton and Kamani Vidal, fuck yeah, let me get that. Let me see if I can't keep this championship dream alive. So pretty clear way to look at Wilson at this point in the year.
Man, I remember, I think it was at the beginning of last year, I was on the Fat Boy Show with Bo and Brant, and Bo and I just gushed over Garrett Wilson. Like, Garrett Wilson's going to be amazing, player of the year, MVP, Aaron Rodgers, so on and so forth. Always 30 minutes of like, oh, he's so talented and he's such a stud. You can't go wrong with the Ohio State receiver. I think Garrett Wilson might be suffering from some I don't want to play itis right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, my knee's hurting. Justin Fields, not so good. I'm going to read off the last couple games passing yards for Justin Fields. 27 yards, 226, 283, nice. 45 yards passing, 46 yards passing, 244 yards passing, that's okay. 54 yards passing. Justin Fields has 4 games under 54 yards passing since week 2. Love the talent, hate the situation. I hope Wilson is somewhere else next year.
Well, here's why you're gushing over Garrett Wilson at the start of last year. He's really fucking good. So check this out. I just pulled up his game log. Okay,
is he?
He's really good.
The
last game he came in and re-aggravated that knee injury and went out and gave you a 0. If you had Garrett Wilson, you probably started him, so that one really stings. Now we're going to leave, probably the last time we'll see him all year, leave with the bad taste in the mouth that he gave you 0. Before that, he started and played in 6 games this year. Of those 6 games, even with the shitty Justin Fields passing stuff, in just a straight PPR league, no weird bonuses, he got you 22.5, 9, 24.4, 20.2, 19.1, and then a 4-point shitty game at the end there. But, in 6 games, he gave you 22, 24, 20, 19. Fuck yeah. That's how good he is, even despite the garbage offense he was playing on. Garrett Wilson has passed the eye test from day one. He just looks good out there. He's just suffered from some of the absolute worst. I mean, Terry McLaurin and DJ Moore very arguably had better quarterbacks and quarterback play around them and that's saying something, man. So yeah, I don't want to gush too long, but Garrett Wilson's an absolute buy for me, and obviously he's probably rostered mostly to contenders in dynasties. So get out there, throw those contenders something reasonable for him, and you're probably going to put Garrett Wilson on your bench and enjoy when he comes back and starts playing well again.
Man, if he goes to the Patriots, oh man, that would be.
I did that just last week for trading Garrett Wilson. To mentioning that, I traded Garrett Wilson and Chimere DK for Chris Olave and Woody Marks. Managed to get that before Woody Marks really went off. I was a contender. It's 3 wide receiver, 3 flex. So those extra flex spots, like I feel comfortable starting Marks over DK and getting Olave there just with that PPR points he's getting that was a no-brainer for me just to compete. So yeah, if you can get something like that, I think that's a little high in what I received. You might be able to get something a little less, but if you can get something like that as a contender, like that's a smash accept every day right now for what to expect for Wilson the rest of the year.
Absolutely, man. Yes, it's very black and white. Buy if you're rebuilding, try to get something decent if you're contending, man. Simple as that. So with J.K. Dobbins, who I rely on in my most important redraft league and some other contending dynasty leagues, I just looked at a fairly depressing blurb on his ESPN bio. Sleeper still has him projected for points and just listed as questionable, but his ESPN bio already has him projected for 0, which is never a good sign. I feel like that's one of my favorite gauges of if a player is going to play or not, or if he's healthy or not, is ESPN puts those projections like pretty early on, and they're almost always accurate. If they put a guy at 0 early in the week, it's almost a lock he's not going to play. And the disturbing part is the first sentence of the blurb is the Broncos are considering putting Dobbins on IR. So if it's that serious, 1, ouch if you're depending on Dobbins, but 2, if you're like me in that same league have Harvey, we could be welcome to the RJ Harvey Express. These rookie running backs could be winning us some titles, but obviously something to keep an eye on. If he doesn't go on IR, you don't want to drop him because they definitely seem to like him there. Sean Payton trusts him, but the Broncos' offense has just been kind of sketch city lately.
Yeah. If you look at his sleeper profile, J.K. Dobbins, so news says he's likely on IR or potential. So while he still has projections, the benefits is the Broncos have KC and then a bye week, so at least has a little time potentially. Granted, if you are all of a sudden you're not getting him back the first week of playoff at the earliest with week 15. So for me, I have a chunk of Harvey shares. I hate seeing injuries, but it's a thing for my Harvey because we saw Harvey do some great things with minimal touches the last 3 weeks. If he can get some more touches now, there's some excitement to see what might happen with him. So I hate seeing injuries, but with Dobbins' history, you had to have exited at some point. And Harvey hopefully will benefit and maybe keep the drive the rest of the way.
Yeah, the only time you have a 0 projection is if you're injured or if you're AJ Brown. It sucks to see Dobbins hurt. He's been more reliable than the usual J.K. Dobbins the last 2 seasons. He only missed 4 or 5 games last year, and his advanced metrics are really good. I think he was top 5 in broken tackles last year. He's currently 7th in yards after contact. I think Dobbins was what people always wanted him to be the last 2 years. It's good to see him finally get a portion of that expectation, not have a total lost career. I'm hoping he pulls through. I am hoping he's not lost for the year. Maybe 4 weeks on IR. It's not the worst thing in the world. He'll come back late in the season. healthy, fresh. I'm hoping good thoughts, sending good things out there into the universe for Dobbins. I don't know if Harvey can hold up to lead back work right now, but like you said, they have by the week after this one, plenty of time to heal up for the whole Broncos offense. Hopefully get more points than 10 points on the freaking Raiders. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's like watching that Eagles Packers game. The bookends, 7 bookends on the week. Fucking weird.
Yeah. Players are just who seem to be constantly injured but not going on IR. You got Terry McLaurin, who's missed 6 games this season, 6, and then continues to not play because of quad. He held out, got the bag.
Got the bag. See ya, boys.
I mean, that's it with Terry. It's a lost season there. J-Day's done. What the fuck are they rushing Terry back for? They're scrapping with the Giants to finish bottom in the division. I have zero hope that Terry's going to do anything for fantasy the rest of the year. If you have him, hopefully they put him on IR at some point, and you can at least put him to your IR and stop wasting a roster spot on him. In redraft, I can't imagine in like a regular redraft where you have 5 or 6 bench spots that you're just hanging on to him still. It's
hard to.
It's like a fucking poison pill at this point, having somebody on your bench that you can't use. I think I brought this up before in my main league of record for redraft. We only put players on IR that are actually IR designated. So if a guy's out, like Terry, he is just clogging one of your 6 or 5 bench spots, and you're struggling to like carry an extra defense or depth at the other positions. This time of year, I love, if you're contending and you're looking like a playoff team, I love grabbing extra defenses that have a good matchup and just having 2 defenses or even 3 if you can swing it, where you have just lined yourself up for a defense playing a scrub ass offense all the way through into the playoffs and through the playoffs. So yeah, you don't have luxuries like that if you're fucking lugging around a Terry McLaurin or right below him, man, Bucky Irvin. They just said that there's no timetable. 0 timetable on his return. Now they're winning
7 weeks.
Right. He should have went on IR. Yeah. It's been very vague with Bucky. He obviously should have went on IR, but I guess I'd assume that the Bucks aren't like a shittily run organization. I'd assume they figured he'd be okay and he had some type of setback, re-injured something, pulled something. But at this point, it's just the Rashad White and Sean Tucker show. Bucky's a guy at least I'm going to try to hang on to on my bench because they are winning, or a contender at least, and they're in a terrible division. So I'd assume the second he's healthy enough to come back, he will come back and contribute. But no timetable for return is not what you want to fucking hear.
No. And you're right. Looking at Sleeper, it says shoulder/foot. And you're like, okay, those are 2 completely different ends of the body. What's on here? They're very vague. Maybe it's 2 inches thought they'd clear up and but yeah, 7 weeks, he should have easily been on IR. And that's killing you if you can't put out players on your IR right now. That he's someone you want to hold on to, but timetable.
Maybe the Bucks are out of IR spots. They got Evans, Godwin, Jalen McMillan.
Godwin's not on IR. It's just
he's
Evans.
Another guy. Yeah, Godwin's another guy that they've already said he's going to be out multiple more weeks, but they're not putting him on IR, so he's just dead weight.
I wonder if Godwin you can't, because he was on PUP to start the year, and then he started practicing, so he might not technically be, but yeah, it's tough.
Maybe that is it, but yeah, man, Godwin's a guy in the Fantasy Footballers Megalo Bowl, which I think I've made the playoffs once or twice, but I had Godwin this year. I forget who I cut him for, but he was just a cut for me because they even have tinier benches there. I wasn't trying to lug him in. Also, I brought it up before. I traded Metcalf 1-for-1 for Jamar Chase at the lowest point of Jamar Chase at like week 4 or 5, whatever it was, where Brown couldn't play before Flacco came in. Me and the guy with Chase were both like bottom of the league, and I was like, hey, listen, let's shake it up. I'll give you Metcalf, who was at least producing. I was like, fuck it, what are we going to finish 11th and 12th anyway? And I am now into third place in my league in the Megala Bowl.
Perfect.
Thanks mainly to Jamar Chase just catching fire.
We got an interesting comment about trading an injured player to try and contend. Are you going to trade Neighbors for Rashee Rice, PPR Dynasty, and you're contending? You have Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, Luther, and Brandon Ayuk. So really 2.5 usable wide receivers in Puka. Burden, you feel comfortable flexing just yet. Ayuk's injured. A.J. Brown, as we talked about, is wide receiver like 39 on the year. Dude, Neighbors for Rashee Rice if you're contending.
If the rest of that team looks good, if he's got two good quarterbacks and a solid running back room, I will absolutely do that. Because at that point, if you're rolling out Rice, Amon-Ra, and Puka every week, and a good surrounding cast to them, you're absolutely a prime contender. Barring one guy in your team has just built an unstoppable juggernaut, you're very, very likely to win. So I would do that. And obviously, in a vacuum, Neighbors is going to go ahead of Rice in like a startup draft next year. But if Rice continues playing like this and being the one for Mahomes, it ain't going to be that much higher than Rice. So, yeah, I'm doing that. Like I said, if you want to let us know like what quarterbacks you have, what running backs you have, if you've got a Trey McBride at tight end or something like that, that definitely helps. I don't want to do this though if you have that stud wide receiver room and you're rolling out some mediocre running backs and like a shitty quarterback too, though.
Yeah. Depending on how good of a contender you are, but that's an interesting trade for the sake of if you really need to do it, if you need to make it, that's kind of the trade we're talking about here. And I mean, when you're looking at points per game, PPR, Puka's number 1, Rashee Rice is number 2, Amon-Ra is number 5. So you're talking about rolling out 3 top 5 point per game wide receivers. If you have some strong quarterbacks there, that's a no-brainer. It feels so weird at this point saying, yeah, trade Rice for Malik Neighbors or Malik Neighbors for Rice. But right, like even the Rice truthers, I think, did him to come this strong. And he's killing it right now. Quarterbacks are Mahomes and Bo Nix. A-Chain, Breece Hall, Dowdle, and tight end is McBride.
Dude, take my money. Let's do it. Give me that fucking trade. Give me Rice for Neighbors all day.
Yeah, I mean, and they're all young. You have Burden, who's young, still there. Like your entire team is young enough that if you don't make it, you're not falling off the cliff next year too. Feels so bad today, but I give me Rice there. Yeah, trade Neighbors for Rice, win the bag.
Like, I would do it. And also, Neighbors tore his ACL week 4, but he only had surgery 2 weeks ago. I think Neighbors, hot take here, Neighbors won't be ready to start next year. I think Neighbors starts on the pup, misses the first 4 games, a little bit of panic. I had ACL surgery. I know the time frame is like a year to recover. Yeah, I would totally smash that trade because like I think you'll reap the benefits sooner than later and even into the first half of next year. Yeah, totally. Smash accept.
There's many reasons I love Dynasty, but that specific trade is just a perfect example of it. Like I fucking love it, man. You're trying to contend. You got a guy like Neighbors on your bench. You can pull some shit off like that. And in reverse too, the guy, the other side of the trade, I'm sure they enjoy it just as much. They're getting fucking Malik Neighbors to throw on their contending team, man. It's awesome. It's like, I don't know. Anybody that plays a ton of Dynasty already knows this, but if you're a rebuilder, go talk to the contending teams. If you're a contending team, go talk to the rebuilders. I just wasted like 30 minutes of my life the other night in a league that I'm contending. literally in second place in this league, and the first place team was DMing me about a bunch of trades. And he's like, well, maybe you could give me Devontae Adams, and like maybe I could give you like Kyron Williams. And we both have like loaded teams. Neither of us were weak at one position and soft at the other, so it wasn't even, none of it was making sense. And I was like, I don't know, I'd just rather have like the roster I have. And he's like, well, maybe we can get something done. I'm like, I don't think we can. And, like, it never works out. It's maybe there's some scenario where, again, if you're weak at one spot and they're weak at one spot, you can pull something off with a contender, but you're not trying to make your opponents better. That was the weirdest thing. That was the other weird part about it. I'm like, dude, you're the first place team on the second place team. I'm not trying to gas you up and make you better for your playoff run. So yeah, just try not to waste people's time in dynasty negotiations. Go talk to the other end of the competition spectrum.
Yeah. But trades, dynasty, it's what makes it interesting. Like, I have guys who have been in my redraft league who have been out of playoff contention for 3 weeks now because it's the three teams have a combined 3 wins, and for them, like, sure, they can be starting a lineup each week, but there's no in the game for them anymore because it's a redraft where they can do nothing. Whereas dynasty, still be trading, you can still be doing these things. Like, it makes you feel more involved in your team.
Best.
Yeah, we'll talk about Joe Burrow real quick, and then we have another question. But Joe Burrow seems like a potential timetable for him to come back. He's his 3-week window to be activated off IR due to his toe injury, turf toe. It started a couple days ago. It sounded like that he's starting to potentially practice limited before going. So they're looking at maybe a early December, mid-December startup for him. Now, again, why rush him back if the Bengals, because they really don't have, I mean, they have some playoff hopes, but
they're 2 games back.
Flacco has done the amazing things. Yes. Yeah.
I did hear that they said that he wants to come back, but he does understand that it's dependent on what the scenario, where the Bengals are standings wise at that point, that he's not just going to come back just because he's healthy if they're completely mathematically eliminated. Obviously, we'll see what happens. Flacco's got them cooking. We'll see, man. Yeah, Burrow, he's a guy that I definitely made multiple trades for on non-contending teams and managed to get. Dude, in a 14-team Superflex league where I'm rebuilding, I gave up Jackson Dart in a 4th, and I got Joe Burrow in a 3rd.
It's amazing.
A 14-team Superflex, quarterbacks are impossible to get.
Yeah.
I took a free order like 3 years ago in this league, and my team still kind of sucks because I don't have, quarterbacks. I had the 4th overall pick this past draft. I took Jackson Dart. People were like, you're insane. I'm sure I left lots of cool pieces on the board like Ted McMillan and all the running backs, or other than Genty or whatever. But I was like, listen, it's the only shot I have at grabbing a quarterback. And sure enough, it worked out, and now I have Joe Burrow in that league.
That's amazing.
The Bengals need to let Burrow rest because Flacco's coming up on the Ravens twice in 3 weeks, weeks 13 and 15 for the division lead. Oh my God, please, football gods, let Flacco versus the Raven. Oh, like, let Burrow get healthy. What a story. Like, the NFL is such a soap opera. What a story. Bring it on. Oh, I love to see at least one of those games. I want Flacco as a Bengal in Baltimore. Oh,
that'd be amazing.
Please. Just even if Flacco gets one start out of the 2 games versus the Ravens, man, it's And Flacco's just fun. Like, Flacco out of nowhere. It was when he threw for 470 yards versus the Jets. That was his first 400-yard game in his career. Like, surely Joe Flacco has thrown for 400 yards once. No, that was his first and only career 400-yard game. Joe Flacco strong as hell. He is. I think Brian said it numerous times. White Jameis Winston.
White Jameis.
Yeah.
Just someone's out there. I'm going to throw it as hard and as far as I can. Someone will get it. Defense might get it. Jamar or T. Higgins might get it.
You say he's got two awesome someones out there now, and it's working out. Just here.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm going to fucking get you the ball. Let's do that again and again and again. And the defense let up another touchdown. So we got to keep throwing. Let's chuck it again. It's the perfect
2 weeks
storm
ago
for
against the Bears. T. Higgins literally over a defender catch touchdown. Like, he had no business catching that. Like, those guys are gonna catch the ball from Flacco. It is amazing to see.
That was low-key catch of the year, and I think it went under the radar. I was watching with my son, like, oh, that was an interception, and Higgins like pulled it from behind his back, like, surprise touchdown. Like, there's no way he caught that ball, and they
stayed in for the touchdown, like, because that was the other part about it, is he was like at this weird fucking angle where it looked like he should have immediately fallen out of bounds, but he just flipped the counter. Like, he had some weird counterbalance in his body that kept him upright and running towards the end zone. T. Higgins is fucking awesome. The only issue that T. Higgins has ever had is injuries and the fact that he'll start a lot of games and be iffy coming into the week and give you 2 snaps and go out. But that's, knock on wood, that seems to almost be a little bit of a thing of the past with him. T. Higgins has just been a monster when healthy, and he just gets shadowed, by the fact that he's playing next to very arguably the best wide receiver on earth in Jamar Chase. But when you have a shit defense and a white Jameis Winston quarterback out there chucking it from behind, it's just money. It's money for both of them, man. So let's keep cashing those checks.
Yeah.
Higgins might be one of the few guys that ever got the bag and immediately got fully healthy.
Yeah, right.
Okay, bring it on. Usually.
All right, man.
Before we
Let's
go
hit
into
that
recap.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
We got a question first. Let's do a quick Dobbins recap. Just a quick question. Must have missed us talking about Dobbins a little, but just quick recap. Dobbins trade. Person traded Corey Krosky Merritt for Harvey, hoping Dobbins goes on IR. Quick 10 seconds recap of our thoughts for Dobbins.
Well, just off the rip, he's saying he could trade Bill to get Harvey. 100%. Yeah. Do that immediately. Send that trade. If we find out J.K. Dobbins is fully healthy in the next 5 minutes, I'm still sending that trade.
Agreed.
Bill has been phased out. Like, he doesn't do anything. So yeah, definitely do that. Regardless of the Dobbins situation, if Dobbins ends up missing any time, even better. That the team that you're making that offer to might want something a little bit extra with Bill.
He made the trade. He made the trade. He did it. Yeah, already done.
Yeah, Merritt's a drop. I'm a little extreme. Merritt's a drop. He's not good. He sucks.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Our short recap. Hopefully, if Dobbins goes on IR, there's the hope Harvey, over the 3 games since they have a bye, starts to take over because he looks great. I know he's old. He's 25, but that's all the power to him, especially with him being drafted much higher than he was expected. Like, he's gonna take over the majority of the workload soon. Maybe not a bell cow 80% of snaps, but if you can get to 60, 70, I mean, Harvey,
love it, man.
Percent of snaps, not age. I know he's old. He's not collecting Social Security like Joe Flacco yet.
Yeah.
Smoking
Joey Flacco from Delaware, dude. All right, man. Let's we were like, hey, we'll get to the recap quick this week, and we got 45 minutes in before we got to it. How about it?
Yeah. Some very relevant injury news, some very close games this week, some great games.
Some trash games, too.
There's those bookends. 10-7, man. Rough.
Yeah.
In that, kind of like last week, I said, like, let's instead of touching on every single player or whatever, what do we take away from this game? What do we feel differently about the Raiders or the Broncos from when before this game started? Because for me, it's more with the Broncos. I was already getting worried about Bo Nix and just the offense in general, and this didn't fucking help. The Raiders are not a good defense. I assume the Knicks would have a good game, that Sutton would have a good game, that Dobbins would have a good game, and it was gross. Gross. Troy Franklin and Ashton Genty were the only people you were happy to start in this game, and
Yeah.
I'm worried going forward. The Broncos have a very good defense, and I think they're content to win a lot of games 10-7, and that's not ideal for our fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it's their defense is great. Their offense has problems getting into rhythms. Like sometimes their wide receivers and Knicks pop off, sometimes they doesn't. That does worry me, especially. I think they're going to lose next week against the Chiefs. Chiefs coming off the bye at the Broncos. Chiefs are amazing off bye. I don't think they'll let the Broncos offense get in rhythm. And that's when you get these 10-7 games from the Broncos, is when their offense just can't, I mean, they can't do much at times, which is worrisome. But I mean, they're top of their division for a reason right now. So they got 2 games against the Chiefs. They got a lot of divisional games left, but yeah, I mean, it's tough to have anyone on either team in fantasy right now. You can't rely on anyone on either side of the ball or either team in fantasy right now, unfortunately.
I was so excited about the Broncos and everything. And you make I make lazy comparisons. Oh, well, Sean Payton has historically had this system and that system, and Bo Nix is Drew Brees, and now Evan Ingram's going to be Jimmy Graham, yada yada. I don't know. The Broncos struggled versus the Texans. I thought it was just a really good Texans defense. They won. It was 18-15 in overtime the week before, and I wrote it in my write-up. The Raiders and Jaguars played a full overtime, nearly a tie, and I was expecting this to be a Broncos blowout. It was definitely not that, and they get to do it all over again in week 14. So, could be round 1 for some fantasy playoffs or the game leading into the playoffs. I hope you don't have any Broncos or any Raiders that you need in week 14, because yep, that's looming. Yuck. Just it wasn't even like a good defensive game. It was a just awful football. It was like two community colleges on Thursday Night Football. And Andrew Whitworth hoodie.
He did have a hoodie on under his suit. I'm keeping tabs. It happens.
Indoors. No, they were in Denver. That's right.
Also, Brock Bowers, coming off of one of the greatest performances in fantasy history, gave you 1 catch for 31 yards. I have a league with a bunch of the dudes from South Harmon. It's a rare lineup league with them. It's almost every league with the South Harmon dudes is best ball. This specific league is called The Grind. They did it as like an experiment where every week they do a podcast about it. So Adam and Eric have a team. 11 other of their patrons have teams, and I was in first place this week. Going into this week, I have Bo Nix and Jordan Love are my quarterback in Superflex, and Brock Bowers is my tight end. It's my only Brock Bowers share, because you know me, fuck tight end. But in this league, it has a nice bonus. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me get a Brock Bowers share. So going into this week, first place, hoping to hold on to first place. I started Thursday Night Football with like 8 points from Nix and 1 catch from Bowers.
Oof.
And then here's the fucking worst part. Dagger on this one. Monday Night Football. The rest of my team popped off. My opponent didn't do so great. That was one of the leagues where I just needed literally like 13 points from Jordan Love last night, and I would have won.
That hurts.
That's too much.
Guess what? Jordan Love got me 7.4 points. So not only did I fucking take an L, I didn't get the median, and I dropped from first place to fourth place. So yeah, That's how
Yeah.
I felt about this game on Thursday night. And then the other end of the bookend, 10-7, I got to get the nail in the coffin. I was pretty confident that Jordan Love was going to get me 13 points or whatever on Monday Night Football, but he sure didn't.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of people were at high hopes for players in those games, and thankfully I wasn't one of them. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed by just the scoring last night, unfortunately. But
lack thereof.
All right, man. So
sorry,
I've vented enough about that stupid game. So
overseas overtime.
Other than Jonathan Taylor just destroying fantasy football this year,
holy mackerel!
We don't really need to say shit else about it. The Colts are going into their bye week, but other than John Taylor's awesome and
Daniel Jones was awesome.
Nobody's worried about Bijan not being good. He had a down game, but he still got you like 10, and nobody's worried about Bijan. Any thoughts on this outside of pray you don't have to play against Johnny Taylor anytime soon?
Didn't the Colts just trade for a cornerback who literally fell on his ass at the goal line trying to cover Drake London?
London didn't even shake him that bad. Sauce just fell on his face. I'm like, what the? There's a reason the Jets traded you. No, that was not.
That's just the only other play that came to mind.
Not a good look, but yeah.
Drake London continues to smash. My dark horse to steal the wide receiver one spot on the year keeps climbing up. Let's see where he's sitting on the season, but another big game for him, so that was cool. Alec Pierce, another solid game. It seems like he should be rostered for sure. He doesn't get rostered. People seem to keep viewing him in that boom bust role, but he's actually been consistent. Daniel Jones looks for him.
Michael Pittman and Josh Downs combined for 3 catches for 22 yards in that game. Yeah. It was Pierce and Warren with a colossal dose of Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and Pierce was more wasn't a chunk of his points came from one touchdown play that was an amazing catch. Was it double coverage or close to double coverage where he just made it in the end zone? And otherwise, it was just Jonathan Taylor just said, "This is my game," and just did everything.
That touchdown run, he was like swallowed up in the pile of linemen and just bounced free. And the second he bounced free, I'm like, oh my God, that's a touchdown. He's gonna break free. He's incredible. He's my MVP candidate. A little bit of a homer. Please. I hope they limit his workload the rest of the way. Maybe the Colts can take their foot off the gas. I'm afraid that he's this year's Saquon. And next year, they're just going to run him into the ground. Taylor's on pace for 321 rushes. I think his career high is like 335. I really hope they take the foot off the gas. I want maybe one more year of Jonathan Taylor. I'm really afraid. Saquon had like 375, 380 touches last year.
I think it was over 4.
It was over 4.
On the playoffs, it was over
100. I believe in the over 400 curse. I don't know. I do. A lot of other people do too. I don't know how. It's got to be truthful to some extent, right? Please, Shane Steichen, use a little bit more DJ Giddens, a little bit more Tyler Goodson. Save GT, just to save GT for the Super Bowl.
So I gotta give a public service announcement here because I've been lucky enough to be able to rely on Daniel Jones in a ton of my super flex leagues. He's one of my highest rostered quarterbacks. He's a dude that I was just picking up off waivers and trading late picks for when he was on the Vikings bench, a year and a half ago, whatever. But
that's a pro gamer move.
They're on bye this week, so hear me out, man. They're on bye this week, and in their next couple weeks after the bye. So Daniel Jones, no use to you this week. Comes back, he's at the Chiefs. He's then playing the Texans, who look fucking awesome on defense. He gets the Jaguars, which is a green matchup for passing, and then he's at Seattle, and their defense looks fucking unstoppable right now too. So in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, you get nothing and 3 that you don't want to start him in, or 4 that you don't want to start him in. So it's not looking great. Those matchups maybe aren't as bad for Taylor, maybe not as terrible for the receivers, but against, like, looking at the green and red from Sleeper on the quarterback matchups, real tough sledding for Danny Dimes. So as someone who has a ton of shares and no dog in the fight as far as rooting for the Colts, they're not in my division or anything. So I hope he does well, but he's got a fucking murderer's row coming up and a bye week. So find some other options. Make a trade for a Marcus Mariota or something like that, because Dimes is not somebody that you want to be starting for some games here.
Yeah. Dolphins won versus the Bills. It seemed similar. It was Devon A. who said, "This is just going to be my game," and he went on. I mean, Tua did decent, Waddle, but A-Chain just kind of seemed to take over that game, and the Bills just did nothing against a horrible Miami defense. Granted, it's a divisional game, which take for a grain of salt. Still, like, how can the Bills do this after what happened to the Bills?
This game's a perfect example of when I was talking about what do we really need to say about this game that's any different than before this game. Are you benching Josh Allen? Do you think James Cook isn't going to be good? If you've been using Shakir as your wide receiver 3 or flex, are you just benching him now? And, oh yeah, Devon A-Chain is really good. Right? Yeah. Jalen Waddle has continued to produce. Jalen Waddle's been a nice story this year for sure. But again, going into this coming week, do you guys view anything different about either of these teams at all? Because I don't. I honestly don't. I call this a fluke. No. This is just like how the Patriots used to go down into Miami every year and get fucking stomped on, even when it was like peak Brady years. Just something weird happens when teams go into Miami and it's cold back home and they get off the plane and it's 87 and I don't know, there's just some weird fucking formula where the good AFC East teams lose to the Dolphins in Miami every year. So yeah, I don't really, literally nothing. I see nothing different other than just a little more confidence in the fact that Tua and Waddle seem to both be reliable at this point, which is weird to say, but especially about Tua, but they seem like they're going to get fantasy points.
And for reference, this is Josh Allen's second game with over 300-yard passing and the first since week 1 against Baltimore. So, like, Josh Allen is, I mean, they had turnovers. He had an interception. He had a lost fumble. Like, that's part of it for sure. But, I mean, Josh Allen still looked good outside of those 2 turnovers. He threw well. He had 2 passing touchdowns. Like, fantasy-wise, I'm not changing anything besides, I mean, if it's a shorter starting lineup, maybe you were 50-50 on Waddle depending on who you have, and now you're like, okay, I got to be starting him if you weren't already. But otherwise, Tua, you're not bumping Tua up. You're not bumping Josh Allen off. The wide receivers for the Buffalo, I'm keeping the same. I'm barely starting them if I am. Maybe back here. Yeah, I mean, fantasy-wise, keep chugging along the same. Even with Miami's defense on matchup base, keep chugging along the same. Start players against Miami's defense still. So, yeah, it's all the same for me.
I'll be devil's advocate. I'm pumping the brakes on the Bills. Dalton Kincaid's week to week. Allen, damn it, Allen lost. Like, he had a 30 to 40-yard run, and the ball got knocked out. I would have won at least one league had he not fumbled that ball. I mean, they give him Amari Cooper. He doesn't throw to Amari Cooper. They draft Keon Coleman. He doesn't really throw to Keon Coleman. It was raining pretty hard in the second half. There's some dumbass at Fantasy Holics a couple weeks ago was like, it's going to be a bloodbath. the Bills are going to win like 56-3, and it was a 10-point game. And I was watching Red Zone does this like little like game preview during the week, and Scott Hansen said, "Oh my God, how much are the Bills going to win by against the Dolphins?" I said, "I don't know, Scott. I made that mistake a few weeks ago. It was a lot close. It was 31-21 2 or 3 weeks ago. When the Dolphins win, the Dolphins kicked their ass. This game was not as close as 30-13 seems."
So
I don't
Pat,
know. I don't know what to think. I don't.
you say you're pumping the brakes on the Bills though, but for fantasy football, Josh Allen had 25 points and was a quarterback one. James had a slower week, but again, what I'm really getting at is, what are you looking at different? Are you benching Josh Allen? Are you benching James Cook? That's really all I'm saying.
I'm
you're
moving
pumping the brakes maybe as them a contender, sure, but for our fantasy football shit, like what do you feel differently about the Bills than you did last week or 2 weeks ago?
There's cracks in the foundation. I'm moving Allen from like 1 to 4 or 5. Not much, but people get mad as hell, and they expect quarterback 1 numbers, and they get quarterback 6 numbers on the week, or quarterback 8 numbers on the week, and they tilt and they lose their mind, and maybe I'm overreacting.
It never really factors in though, because in one quarterback leagues, if you have Josh Allen,
You're probably starting Josh Allen.
You don't what I mean. You probably don't have Lamar Jackson too.
Or that'd be quite a pivot.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But so like I said, I get it. I don't dispute that they some cracks in the armor, but they are what they are. They're a run first team. They're going to do shit like that all the time. Josh Allen's going to get his with his legs. They're going to run. I think they run more than any team in football at this point, and they'll probably keep doing that. When they throw, you'll get some Shakir weeks here and there. He's a wide receiver 3. Kincaid is hurt. I don't know what they're saying, if he's going to be out another week or miss multiple weeks, so keep an eye on that. But he's been very useful when he's been on the field. Despite my thoughts on him, I'm a huge Kincaid hater, but other than the games he's been hurt, he's been very, very good this year.
I've been saying King should come back this year because his target rate last year dropped to like under 70%. So Josh Allen just wasn't accurate to the ball with him, whereas his year was in that 80-85% range. I expected him to come back, but he's struggling with injuries. I mean, I have a top tight end. I'm starting Kincaid when he's back and healthy. That's fantasy wise, I'm changing anything based on this divisional game. I mean, even if you look at the Bills turned the ball over on downs in the first quarter, interception in they were 3rd and goal, in Miami territory, fumble just barely not in Miami territory. Like, they had 3 turnovers and some terrible points on the field that are huge momentum shifters. Like, if you take those out, all of a sudden maybe James has a better game. Like, I'm not saying discount those, but for fantasy purposes, I'm not changing a single thing.
One last ramble from me. This season, Josh Allen's been quarterback 5 or better 3 times. 1, 5, and 3. He has been quarterback 5 or worse 7 weeks. I'm just. He's still an automatic must start. Yes, Mr. Oviedo, you're a dumbass, but I think his pedestal's a little too high. I think Josh Allen's a little too close to the sun right now, and his wings might be melting a little bit.
He's still quarterback 4 on the year.
He's still pretty
2 point per game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still quarterback 4 on the year. He had his bye, so that's overall. Even with his bye, he's still quarterback 4. So, I mean, I get it. You could definitely dispute him being like ranked 1 every week, but as I said, it doesn't really factor in because there's maybe 1% of people out there that are in a single quarterback league that have fucking Lamar Jackson or whoever else you're going to start over him. And in Superflex, his ranking is irrelevant because as long as he's top 24, you're fucking starting him every week.
Can you imagine not starting Josh Allen in Superflex? Moving on.
Yeah.
So man, Ravens, Vikings. The takeaway, I don't know. My takeaway from it is McCarthy seems to favor Jalen Nailor over Justin Jefferson, which is fucking weird. That's his first look. It almost feels like.
You were kinder than I expected. I expected JJ McCarthy sucks. He's horrible. Why?
I don't even think it's just weird though. Like you've got Addison and Justin Jefferson out there, and sure, the defense is looking at it that way too. So I'm sure that's their first and second goal to stop. But man, he just has these big old hard eyes for Jalen Nailor. I don't know if they hang out after work, they go to the bar together, they play Dungeons and Dragons or something. But man, they are fucking tight, and it's just shitty for JJ and shitty for Addison.
Wonder if it's just the targets that Nailor got. I mean, you look at it, Jefferson had 12 targets, Addison had 11, and Nailor only had 6. But Nailor had 5 receptions with more than Jefferson and Addison for 124 yards and a touchdown. Like, I just wonder if it's kind of the quality of targets, or if just on those plays that Nailor got those big plays for those yards, the defenses were hugging Jefferson and Addison. But I mean, Jefferson had targets; they just didn't convert. For me, I have 2 big fantasy takeaways here, and with McCarthy or the wide receivers, it's about the running backs. Aaron Jones is back. I think there was questions with the injury if he was going to have the lead workload coming back taken away from Jordan Mason, just with Aaron Jones's age, with the injury history. Aaron Jones is taking that backfield. If you bought him low, if you're able to do anything like that, that was amazing. He's doing well. On the flip side, Henry is not looking good this season and feels so weird. Okay, do you not start him? What with Derrick Henry right now? Like, when you're looking at PPR league, he scored over 15 points twice, week 1 and week against Chicago and at Buffalo. Otherwise, he's gave you 2 points, 9 points. He gave you 11 yesterday, 13 the week before. Like, depending on what
he hasn't given you return on where you drafted him, but he hasn't like fucked you over. So it's been counting backwards from this week: 11.4, 13.1, 19.1, 14, 9, 7.8, 10. Not what you wanted, but he's not ruining your league. Like, he's not just destroying you if he's in one of your running back slots. But I agree, he's not the same, obviously.
Depending on your roster, you really have thinking, crap, am I sitting Derrick Henry? Your contending roster, there are rosters I have with how Henry looked, not be starting Henry with my contending roster right now. Seems crazy, but Aaron Jones doing almost as equal or better. The interesting question is, you this guy up a few weeks ago who's had a couple great games. Derrick Henry or Woody Marks? Woody Marks has looked great. He's explosive. He's getting the yardage. He's getting receptions in PPR leagues. Like, in PPR, who would have thought come week 11 we were saying, okay, for me, I'm 50-50 if I'm doing Woody Marks or Derrick Henry, which seems as a disrespect to Derrick Henry. I don't mean that, but just on PPR points and what Woody Marks has done, I wonder.
He's at the Browns this week, so that's not ideal. That's a red matchup for running backs. So that might be another down week for Henry. He's got the Jets after that.
And then say it, Brian. Say it.
Cincinnati after that, buddy.
Cincinnati 13 and 15.
Yeah.
Week
Oh,
15
man.
and 50. Yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about that. That's true.
So yeah, if you could survive, yeah, maybe you're in a scenario where you can bench him for some of these tough matchups, and you've got an Aaron Jones or a Woody Marks to slide in there. But boy, them two fucking Cincinnati games, 13 and 15,
500 yards.
Yeah.
and that's cold. That's cold weather, shitty, Derrick Henry season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'm with. But yeah, not to dispute your point, Zach, because yeah, he's been 11, 13, 15, 14, 9, 7. These aren't Derrick Henry numbers.
No.
I'm just saying, if he's some teams would love to be able to put that in their running back too every week because it's a struggle sometimes at that position. But
maybe if he stops pulling living rooms and goddamn engines in his commercials, he'll run a little harder.
You could save a little energy for the football field.
You didn't draft him to be a matchup-based running back, and that's almost what he's become right now.
100%. Yeah, he was late, early mid-second round pick basically, and he's not doing that for you. But hopefully, better days to come.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, look, we've made it to the second column, man. The fucking Jets Browns. What a Jesus Christ. Okay, so other than you want to start the Browns defense. And Quinshon Judkins is startable. Now, and Breece Hall is startable. Anything else?
Dylan Gabriel's horrible. He was a lot of fun to watch at UCF in Oklahoma and Oregon. And I swear Gabriel could throw the ball 50, 60, 70 yards in the air. He can't throw it 5 to 7 yards to save his life. Gabriel looks horrible. I don't know if that's awful play calling. I mean, they've got Judy, they've got Njoku, they've got Fannin. It's impossible to watch. The Browns are the pits. They're terrible, terrible.
See, for me, I was going to say Gabriel is someone that in Superflex leagues you can start on when you're looking at the points he's made, Gabriel was quarterback 9 on the week. He may have looked horrible, but he was quarterback 9. Brissett was 10. Gabriel scored more than Drake May, JJ McCarthy, Mariota, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones, Justin Herbert, even Hurts. Gabriel has, for the sake of fantasy purposes, granted, a lot of it's rushing yards. He had 54 rushing yards. But maybe not on a contending, but maybe, if he's a quarterback 3 and you have a bye or an injury, he helped me win in one of my leagues this week because I sat Justin Fields for Dylan Gabriel and started him and Caleb Williams, and that worked out well.
This game may as well been another 10 to 7. Shoot it straight into the sun. Don't ever want to see it again.
Now,
yeah, but yeah. So yeah, Gabriel certainly in Superflex leagues he should not be on waivers. I don't think there's much. They'll probably end up bringing Sanders in at some point. I don't think they're going to go into week 1 next year with Gabriel as their starter. But crazier.
Yeah, they have Deshaun Watson.
Happen. They do have Watson.
Yeah,
we already talked about the Garrett Wilson injury. Who fucking cares about a Jets pass catcher? Hopefully, Breece Hall just keeps getting you some points. Yeah, I don't think there's much else needed to be said about the Jets or the Browns. Just dog shit organizations.
Yeah. Adonai Mitchell was a healthy scratch. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Good
Lord.
Coming in on a shorter week, can't understand that, but yeah.
Whole probably of some relevance, now that Wilson's ruled out for a while, or he's probably out for the rest of the year. So maybe old Adonai Mitchell does something, but I'm not holding my breath.
No.
Patriots Bucks, we finally got the Travion, my wayward son, breakout game after everyone that drafted him in redraft is now out of the playoffs. They got that big game, so awesome. But he looked great. He looked fast. They finally let him do something other than run up the gut, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Drake May continues to just look fucking dominant, man.
He is awesome.
He just looks the part. He's playing the part. Their record reflects it. So yeah, their pass catchers is a bit of a crapshoot every week. I think Diggs has moved to the level of an okay start, or at least you're not too worried about it start, but it just bounces back and forth with Hunter and Butte, and Kyle Williams caught a big long touchdown this week. So it really does remind me so much of the younger Tom Brady years where you could play Brady, but maybe it's Kevin Falk that passes a touchdown. Just weird shit there. But yeah, Diggs is. I'm okay putting Diggs as a start, and going forward, you'd hope Henderson keeps the momentum up, but Stevenson will be back, and there'll be some level of split. But Bucks wise, like Buka, nice bounce back game. He had been a little quiet for a while, but he had the nice game. Baker, always a starting option for sure. The running backs, we hit on it plenty in the injury thing. No timetable on Bucky, so it's the Rashad White, Sean Tucker show. Cade Otton is absolutely worth starting. He just gets peppered with targets. He's a very, very good waiver pickup, very solid streaming tight end if you're not lucky enough to have one of the guys that's consistently producing.
Yeah, for me, it's the Henderson. He had two. He was so far ahead on one of the runs that he was able to look at the Patriots coaching sideline to say, okay, should I score or do I need to slide down before scoring to make sure he's doing the right play here? Like, he looked great. We talked about this a little last week that the Patriots schedule is getting easier. They're going to face some weaker defenses that upgrade your Patriots players. And to some extent, the Patriots remind me, I mean, this must have been 8-9 years ago at this point, where the Patriots defense was like scoring 20 points a game for the first 9 games, but that's because they were playing terrible teams. And all of a sudden they started playing good teams. And when you look at the Patriots schedule, they've played before this week, they played 2 teams with winning records, the Steelers, who they lost to, and Buffalo, who is a divisional game. Every other game, I don't think anyone had more than 3 wins. So a lot of people are wondering if the Patriots, if Drake May was actually good, and they seem to show up here. And when you look at their schedule, especially for fantasy purposes, for Drake May, for Stephon Diggs, for Henderson, you got the Jets next week, you got the Bengals, you got the Giants, who are all giving up so many points that, I mean, upgrade Diggs. He's looking great. He made a great catch for a touchdown. Stevenson's limited in practice this week. So if you're limited Monday, Tuesday, and you're playing Thursday, Henderson is a little banged up. He's questionable too, but if he's starting, start Henderson like that. I'm hoping that Henderson really starts to take over here. He looks a great 1-2 punch with Drake May. Just a young Bucks starting to take over, which would be great. But for Bucks wise, fantasy purposes, again, similar. It's good to see Igbuka come back and have a great game after bye week, after 3 terrible weeks in a row. It seems like he got rushed back from injury. He came in and he really showed us again what he could do. And I was very happy to see Igbuka just pop off again, because it had been a little while since that. But yeah, and Cade Otton, he started the season, and even last season, you couldn't start him. But now with Godwin out, with Evans out, Otton is someone you can stream at tight end now, which is I've always loved watching him play. So, yeah, I mean, start Henderson if he's available. Start Otton if you really need a tight end. He's a great streaming one. But it was a great game to watch.
The Patriots.
I lost your volume, Zach. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you, my man.
Patrick?
The Patriots, they don't have to live that way. Henderson's first run, electric, just raced away from everybody. The second one, like you said, he looked back to the end zone. Do I need to kneel at the 1? They'll give Boutte, 9 targets one week, no targets the next. Though Diggs is getting his work. Pop Douglas gets a couple touches here and there. Hunter Henry gets a couple. Josh McDaniels is just toying with the rest of the AFC, and it might be Colts Patriots AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
It's looking that way. It might be too premature. I don't know if they could beat the Chiefs or the Bills yet, but the Colts and the Patriots are both trending toward early 2000s level success. And
Yeah.
boy.
Ted, can you hear me now? We good?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, that's those two teams are looking great. I don't think anyone expected the Colts and the Patriots to be as good as they are right now, like especially the Colts. I mean, even my Patriots, I didn't expect that too. So it's those two teams are starting to look much, much better. And I mean that old Patriots Colts rivalry coming back would be amazing to see. So
quick shout out to the Bucs. No Evans, no Godwin, no Bucky Irving. Still held it within 5.
Yeah.
If the Bucs get healthy in time, they're still a force. They are still legit.
Well, speaking of the Bucs, they only have to beat out 3 teams, and 2 of them are the next 2, the Saints and Panthers, who look pretty easy to fucking beat.
But Tyler Shuck does not suck. He's okay.
All right. I mean, he's been practicing quarterback since like 1999. He's a fucking old guy. I hope he knows how to play.
Hopefully.
Olave and Waddle are 2 of my favorite stories for this year in fantasy. They were 2 guys that a lot of people had kind of thrown the towel in on and just were ranked very low, myself included. I will say in the OG Fantasy Holics 1 Dynasty League, I made a trade to acquire both of them. I was lucky enough to have Bo Nix was actually my 3rd quarterback. I have Lamar and Josh Allen in that league.
Wow.
Years of cool building. I have the ultimate super flex too. And I won the championship 2 years ago, and I managed to keep my 112 pick and drafted Bo Nix with that pick. I'm a big proponent of in lineup super flex leagues, you don't want or need a bunch of assets tied up as a good 3rd quarterback that you're only starting for bye weeks. So I flipped Bo Nix. I forget what the exact trade was. I want to say it was like Bo Nix, Zach Charbonnet, and a decent younger IDP. And I got back Geno Smith, Olave, and Jalen Waddle because I'd rather
beautiful.
That was like in the off season when lots of people were down on those 2. So it's worked out. And I was a little even after pulling the trigger on the trade, I was still like, man, did I do the right thing? Like Olave's 1 concussion away, Waddle's fucking sketchy. This is when Tyreek Hill was still healthy. So it's worked out. So they were both very good stories for this year. I'm happy for both of them. I like players succeeding for fantasy. I want every game to be the Bengals Bears game of a few weeks ago, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you're right. Shuck's doing well. He's old, but he's doing well. But Olave is a must start now. He's a great person to have. I mean, there were a lot of concerns coming into this year. There were leagues I got him cheap too, but he's if you're not starting Olave, you must have a super team. But he's getting peppered with so many targets right now. You love seeing that. You love seeing Shuck having him as a safety blanket. Even now with Shaheed being shipped off to Seattle, Olave's going to get more targets. He's going to finish top 10.
He's wide receiver 9 right now. I just had to check.
Thank you. I was going to look at that up soon if you didn't. So, I mean, even a 17-7 game, Olave still gave you a good game. And even though Saints might not put up amazing points, Olave is good he's got a great floor. He might not have the ceiling you want, but he has a great floor.
They shipped out Rashid Shaheed, so that's one less target. Juwan Johnson had a very nice game. Juwan Johnson only has, I think it was Jamie on CBS Pod today brought it up. Juwan Johnson only has like 2 games under 10 points. Like he's just locked in for double digits. Maybe 3 games under 10. It was very good though. He's been very consistent. So Juwan Johnson again with Rashid Shaheed shipped out. It should basically be the Olave, Juwan Johnson, and welcome back Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
had
he
a
did
decent
something
game
finally.
here nowhere. He had been kind of written off for dead, but consolidation of targets and touches is what we want for fantasy. So give me that 3-headed monster, even with a shittier overall offense, man.
Yeah.
It's shocking Juwan Johnson were teammates 10 years ago in college.
They were. Yep. They really were. I brought it up. I brought it up before. It's a real thing. They played in college together, even though Juwan Johnson's been in the NFL for like 6 years.
Tyler Shuck is Van Wilder.
Yeah, he is Van Wilder. No doubt.
Interesting question. Are you doing matchup based between if you have Kamara and Henry and have to start only one? Are you doing matchup based, or are you sticking with Henry because Kamara has only had one good game? From here moving forward, it could change next week, but from here moving forward, if this is all you know, are you starting just Henry, or is it matchup based between the two? Because Kamara has
this is like the first time he's done anything all year. But again,
do they play the Bengals?
Right. Yeah,
so Jets and Dolphins.
I guess it's Henry is my immediate. Okay, Henry is going to be in my lineup, and then when I do my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday once over of my lineups, I'm going to then look at matchups and go, okay, maybe Kamara does have a better matchup. So encouraging from seeing this with how many touches and carries Kamara got, and we'll see. But I think it's Henry, but if Kamara has a notably better matchup, then yeah, I could lean in there.
Like if Kamara had green lights, Atlanta, Miami, Tampa, Carolina, Jets are the only orange, Tennessee, Atlanta, green lights rest of the way except for one matchup for Alvin Kamara.
Well, and the Jets made 2 defensive trades, so that should be more green than orange now.
Yeah. So here it is. You want to start Kamara in the matchups that aren't Henry versus the Bengals.
There you go.
If you own both of them, and they're going to be your running back 2 every week, that's pretty cool because then you can just plug them in as needed per matchup.
Yeah. Jaguars, Texans.
Man, we didn't even say anything.
Man. Yeah.
Shit, man.
Is there anything to say?
Well, Rico, keep it going, man. Another fucking big game for Rico. Just locked and loaded, top 10, if not a little higher RB. So yeah, start him. Tet has just become the standard 11 points. 5 catches for 60 yards. Tet McMillan. You can use him in your flex. You could use him in a pinch at our wide receiver 2. He's a fine wide receiver 3. Yeah. Other than that, nothing. So yeah, that's the pick.
Yeah, briefly, that was my worry with Tet. I figured he'd have a good floor, but he was never the big touchdown guy in college. That was my one big grief from my wide receiver model with Tet is he did not get the touchdowns that you'd want to see of your top receiver. But that to me just meant he'd be a good wide receiver 2 for you, scoring that 11 to 15 points each week. Not a high ceiling, but a high floor. And that's kind of, especially in PPR, that's what he's giving you. But you hope that more touchdowns come eventually, whether they get a better quarterback or something or other. You're hoping that he gets more than he has 2 touchdowns on the year, and it's in the same game against a Dallas defense. You hope it's more going to come soon.
I hate people that were called. I think there's still a couple pods that call him T-Mac, which I just find annoying. Tracy McGrady's T-Mac. It's not fucking Roman.
No, and agreed.
So let's just coin it right here. Floor McMillan. That is his name until Floor McMillan.
I'll take it.
using him as a flex every week in my league of record, and it's worked
There you
out
go.
because I
Yeah.
have some heavy hitters in the other positions. So Floor McMillan has been my flex every week. So
I like
if
it.
he keeps getting this 11-12 every week until the end of the season, he will ride that Floor McMillan nickname all through the offseason as well.
I like it. We have for this next game, we have a comment about Davis Mills had a great game. Unfortunately, no one really started him. I'll have to disagree with you on that no one started him. With what quarterbacks were on bye this week, you had Patrick Mahomes, you had Joe Flacco, Dak Prescott. I was in a league where a person traded for Davis Mills Saturday, and that was his only active quarterback because he had Prescott, Flacco, Mahomes. That there were people who had Davis Mills and were shocked with how good he did. This was he's not going to take the job from Stroud, but he's proven he's a good potential backup with what he can do. Maybe a little more, maybe a bridge quarterback, maybe, but yeah, I mean, with the buys that were happening this week, there were some teams that definitely had to roll out Davis Mills, and we're nervous, but he turned it on for you.
I'm not the quarterback guy on the site, but I swear Davis Mills is not that bad. He really, truly isn't. I'd take Davis Mills over Dylan Gabriel. I'd take him over Russell Wilson. He really is good enough to win games. This game, the Jaguars were up 29-10 in the fourth quarter in this game. Davis Mills is good enough. I mean, the Jets trotted out Tim Boyle. I mean, Brandon Allen has played games for the Bengals, I think it was. Davis Mills should be a starting quarterback somewhere.
He has more starts under his belt than most NFL backups do. He's got over 30 NFL starts, if I'm not mistaken. One of the worst records of anyone with that many starts as well, because he was helping the Texans earn the number 2 overall pick. But I was racking my brain the whole time you guys were talking for a good long neck joke, and I just could not come up with one. But that motherfucker's got the longest neck in the history of NFL. It's giraffe level neck action. It's just weird.
It's like 2 times Mike Glennon. Two Mike Glennons on top of each other.
Old double Glennon scenario.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fucking great for Nico. Nico got you 20 plus without even getting in the end zone, 7 for $140 or something along those lines. But we'll get Stroud back. They're a defense first type team, unfortunately. Woody Marks did have another game. I guess I've just by default become the Woody Marks guy because I definitely recommended him everywhere, and he's working out, man.
You called it.
Yeah, Woody Marks, great story. Jalen Higgins got in the end zone again, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
He's still good.
Like most, I put him in the waiver article today. I said about Higgins, he's been coming on, and that's something that you tend to see from rookies as the season progresses. So hopefully he can become a nice complement to Nico, and they keep throwing the ball to some regularity. I know that they're a threat with how good their defense is, that they don't have to be in scenarios necessarily like this where they have to play catch up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
that was nice though. That was nice, man. That was great for fantasy. I think
great for fantasy.
Old fucking double Glennon neck. Mills ended up as like a top 3 or 4 quarterback on the week.
Yeah,
I believe.
And you had 6 non-quarterbacks from this game score 15 or more points. I mean, it was pretty even across the board. Parker Washington, great call on the waiver wire last week. I mean, Travis Etienne is even showing he's a good streaming running back. Maybe not as high of a floor as people thought to start the season, but you got some great players that you can be starting from these awful teams, but still startable for fantasy purposes. Even in Dalton Schultz is starting to turn on. Nico Collins is getting back to his old self, coming back from injuries and such. These guys are these guys are looking good.
Jacoby Myers got traded to the Jags before the trade deadline. Caught a couple balls. I'd assume going forward, if Brian Thomas continues to miss time, they might try to mix. Yeah. They might try to make Jacoby their number one target. So that'd be nice for any Myers shares they have laying around if he could become useful for fantasy again. But yeah, Parker Washington continues to be startable. Brenton Strange got I forget what the terminology is about, his window to come back opened or whatever, his 21-day window thing. Yeah. So Brenton Strange could come back. That could muddy the waters up a little bit for some of the pass catchers because he was pretty heavily involved there before he got hurt.
Myers had a touchdown called back, so if you were a Myers fan, I guess I could have had a significant impact on the game. It could have been 35-10, and that, would have been a whole different story.
And note, for fantasy purposes, he only played 44% of the snaps, to be expected the week you're traded. He's still getting into the playbook. It's going to be basic routes. Give him another week or two, and he's really going to be integrated into that offense.
It was his birthday also. Had a lot of cake and maybe soda.
Yeah.
Nice.
They only said that on the broadcast like 15 times. Mitch's birthday boy. Oh, Jacoby Myers, birthday touchdown. Oh, wait, the flag on the play. Coming back.
They're going to get a petting zoo for him for a little birthday party. There's going to be goats.
Yeah.
Llamas and emus.
So what, we got 6 more games to look.
Yeah, I'm going to let you guys start the Bears and Giants break. But I got to dip for a second. But while I'm gone, only talk about the Russell Wilson portion of the game because that was the heavy-hitting, fun for fantasy stuff.
Oh, 100%. Russell Wilson
is so washed. He is awful. I have no idea why maybe like Super Bowl winning quarterback has it. Jameis is getting the nod over Russ. I don't know.
You have to be putting Jameis in over Russ right now, just with how he looked running around. Like, he looked like he couldn't do a thing. I mean, granted, getting thrown in fourth quarter in such a game at Chicago where it's snowing, but Russ looked atrocious. Winston can at least do that, but has a higher ceiling that you hope that, they're going to be starting Winston here on out. And Russ was, And you hope Jackson Dart we didn't put him on the injury list because it's still he's out with a concussion right now. Don't know if he's going to be playing next week against Green Bay. We'll see how that's going. That's more of that didn't make our injury list just because of what the injury is. Like, concussions, usually you're out for the week just because you can't prep as well and such, and he's a rookie quarterback. So kind of we'll see about that. But hopefully Jackson Dart you want Jackson Dart back against the Packers. But otherwise, just to see the game, it would be an amazing game seeing Jackson Dart against the Packers. But with the concussion, I agree. You got to be James Winston and not Russell Wilson. He looked like he should retire after the first drive that he had out of like the 2 or whatnot he did. Like, Winston there if Dart isn't ready.
How are they not rolling out Black Joe Flacco instead of?
I have no clue. No clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be so awesome.
Russell Wilson is just the Carlton of the NFL. That reference might be lost on a lot of people. He's the Alfonso Ribeiro, just so bad. Will Smith is Jameis Winston, and Russell Wilson is Carlton.
If they announce Jameis as the starter this week, or going forward, if it was a long term for Dart,
rocket ship emoji.
Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson would be locked in top 24 wide receivers, and that's not a joke. Like, that would 100% be a thing, man. Give me both of them in every one of my starting lineups if it was Jameis Winston.
So, looking at it, Winston couldn't have gone in that game Wynn was
Should've.
labeled as the quote unquote injury quarterback as their emergency quarterback. So he could have gone in if Russ and Dart were out. So that I don't get it. I don't know why, but they need to bring him up for sure, 100%. But
Dayball's out of the picture. I should have. Who's the interim? Is it? I should know that, but
it's what the fuck's his name? He was part of the. He was on the Eagles staff for a while. He was like the quarterback's coach for the Eagles for a while. Fuck, I'll look it up. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. In either case, we might want to get up a little just on the speed. We got 6 games left, and we've been talking about this for like 50, 60 minutes now.
Yep.
For the Bears, Odunze's back. It was just one down week, as to be expected. Caleb Williams is looking great. The Giants
DJ Moore
seem to be the same without Scatabo. DJ Moore was injured for a little, but I don't think you can start him. Unfortunately, it's a day show. Loveland picking it back up again. Love to see that. Burden even got more snaps, so look for him for next year. But for those who are worried about Odunze after last week, don't worry about him. He's doing his stuff.
Just go back to worrying about DJ Moore.
Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry.
Mike Kafka. He was a career backup quarterback, and then quarterback's coach for a while. He was with the Eagles, and he's there. He was their OC. It's irrelevant. It does not matter what's going on there. It's a lost season. They're fucking Please bring in Black Joe Flacco. Make it happen.
Yeah. Seahawks Cardinals. The game was very slow starting. It almost seemed like it was a highly defensive game. Seattle came to a giant lead, but then Brissett actually pulled it together. A good fan day. It was weird because that happened in a couple games where one team went ahead. It looks, at the half, it looks like one team fantasy relevance was going to be 0, and then they picked it up. Marvin Harrison finally had a good game. Brissett had a good game, but I mean, JSN, my two front runners, MVP, non-quarterback, JSN and Jonathan Taylor are doing phenomenal things. As usual, toss up with Seattle running backs still.
Oh my God! Sharp's not in the end zone.
Yeah. So it's it was a high scoring game, but again, fantasy wise, it's still the same all around for me here.
Didn't Sam Darnold only throw the ball like 12 times, or have 12 completions or something like that? I'll look it up, but
I got it right here. Darnold had 10 completions on 12 attempts for 178 yards and 1 touchdown.
Fucking believable. They had 44 points.
Yeah.
Nick Rigby had like a 45-yard touchdown grab the first or second play of the game.
Right.
And when you're looking at rush yards, sure, Seattle had 150 rushing yards, but Sharp only put up 14 points. Walker put up 8 points. Like, it wasn't like the running backs dominated. It was a defensive game. It was a high-scoring defensive game. It's crazy to think for fantasy purposes. Like, you had scored 20 and then Sharp at 14 and everyone else was under 10. Besides, it was a weird game in that event. I mean, you're almost better off.
It wasn't 10-7.
Yeah, I mean, the fantasy, the Cardinals players with 20%, 19, 14, DeMarcado 13. It was weird where the lower scoring team had better fantasy players.
Thank God for Jacoby Brissett as someone who has a lot of Trey McBride. Man, he has just unlocked Trey McBride. My guy has just become the absolute clear-cut, set and forget tight end one. Yes. And until further night, Kyler just went on IR too, so keep rolling it out.
Rams, Stafford is looking great. Adams and Puka are an amazing 1-2 punch. It looks Mac Jones might be winning a starting job somewhere next year. Like, he's looking great. McCaffrey's looking same as always. Like, just a high scoring fantasy wise all around here. Even Aaron Williams did well. Like, you were happy to start pretty much any of those guys.
Yeah, Kyron, fucking Blake Corum is getting mixed in and still putting up his numbers and being an RB1 every week. So Corum was listed in the waiver article this week just as somebody. He's actually creeping into the point of maybe you can even flex him because the Rams are doing so well on offense that they don't even need to play Kyron all the way through, and they're giving Corum plenty of work and for good reason too. You know, they want to keep Kyron healthy for their imminent playoff run. If they keep playing this well, they're going to be in the playoffs. They don't want to burn them out in the regular season. Yeah, the Niners. Kittle's been disappointing for expectations at least.
Been hit or miss. I mean, Kittle did. I mean, he had 23 points this last week, but he went 0, 14, 7, 23. He's not consistent like we thought.
Right.
And I wouldn't put Corum in flex consideration yet. Had one
emergency flex.
Yes. One game over 6 points, but he's getting that 30 to 40% workload. He has some possibilities for sure against weaker defenses.
Yeah, he made the waiver article because he's a very high end handcuff, but he's like his usage is getting to the point where you could potentially flex him.
Yeah, you can't ignore his usage is getting up there. Double-digit carries in 3 straight starts. I mean, his usage is getting there. He's just not. He's not getting pass catches. He's not getting touches. If he can get some of those, yeah, for sure. He's someone. If you have Kyren in Dynasty, you should be getting Corum on your team ASAP if you don't have him.
Yeah, man, for sure. Start pretty much all your Niners and Rams.
Yeah.
Lions beat down. Jahmyr Gibbs finally had the crazy good game, multiple touchdowns. Amon-Ra solid again. Dan Campbell took over the play calling duties and immediately made Jameson Williams the main focus of the passing game. Everybody seems to think that it's just going to be Dan Campbell calling the plays going forward. I haven't heard that anywhere. Most of the pods I've listened to are just going, well, yeah, Dan Campbell took over the play calling in the second half, and it was all Jameson Williams. So Jameson Williams is the hot trade for, or he's going to be great going forward. I didn't hear anywhere that they're not just letting Johnny Morton call the plays again starting next week. So something to keep an eye on. Great seeing something out of Jameson Williams. I kind of have more Jameson Williams than I thought I did after he had this boom game this week. I was like, oh shit, I won some matchups that I didn't think I was going to win because I had Jameson Williams. So it'd be nice to see him mixed more in. But yeah, fucking the Lions are awesome. You're starting most of them in most scenarios. Monty, he's good to have. He's gonna give you some letdown games. Laporta's gonna give you some letdown games. You're auto starting Gibbs and Amon-Ra, and you're usually not disappointed.
I'm seeing some reports that Campbell is going to play call in Week 11 versus the Eagles. So
okay. Good.
It's kind of I'm going to take it over for a little bit before he figures out how I want calls to be played. Now that's not from like ESPN. That's more from like an off Lions website. So that may not be true.
Like beat reporters type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but keep an eye on that for sure.
Dan Campbell has that Applebee's menu.
He does
memorized front and back.
Yeah.
He's literally been on an Applebee's commercial. I've seen it.
Steelers, we've been talking about DK Metcalf is disappointing and continues
Aaron
to
Rodgers is
disappoint.
disappointing.
Aaron Rodgers looked like he was running for his life, and it just again, living in Bear Country, there were people who were celebrating watching Rodgers just throw the interceptions, get sacks, like him not looking good. Like the Bears fans were happy to see that, but you expected more out of them. Even the Chargers in this win didn't score great fantasy wise. Look for Hampton coming back in 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah.
I'll tell you this much. Aaron Rodgers is almost my age. And as someone who is actually my age, I do not chased around by Khalil Mack and Derwin James. No, I'm good.
That does not sound fun.
I'd be in bed for like a week.
Right.
Heating pad, ibuprofen, just ugh.
Yeah.
Jaylen Warren is a dude that I'm definitely okay starting. I think he had maybe 12, 13 points PPR wise, just a mediocre game, but he's a dude kind of under the radar. I mentioned it a few weeks ago that I love trying to stack up guys like that. Ramondre Stevenson's, Jaylen Warren's, Rashad White's, so to speak, just people of that ilk, running backs that you're okay starting for your playoff push. If you can have dudes like that as your flex or your top of your bench, I love it. He's coming off a mediocre game. He's a decent trade for a target for me because I truly believe that they'll continue to use him as their primary back.
Yep.
Caleb Johnson is no threat. Kenny Gainwell has had a flash game when Warren was out, but they clearly trust Warren, and I think most importantly, Aaron Rodgers trusts Warren in there for like pass pro. So he's a dude I don't mind trying to get for my contenders, no doubt.
Agreed. Warren is doing much better than people expected. Even I thought Caleb Johnson would take over by now, and he's in the doghouse. Maybe he'll come out of it in the off season, but Warren's there for the foreseeable future for sure.
And honestly, I think we did well. I guess we should certainly touch on the Chargers just briefly. QJ had a ton of targets. Ladd had the bigger game. Gadsden got hurt, but the early reports are that he's okay. I heard some news that it was like a bone bruise or a thigh bruise, and like he's day to day. So Gadsden will probably be okay for this week. So you kind of want to start all 4 of the Chargers pass catchers. 1 or 2 of them let you down, but you don't want to bench them either because any one of them can have 20 points any given week.
Yeah,
and you absolutely should keep starting Vidal
for sure.
Can't you? I mean, he's been up and downish, but he's a workhorse running back on a good offense. So you're rolling him out every week unless you have better options, which you probably don't.
Yeah. Starting him until Hampton's back.
The Steelers held Jonathan Taylor to 46 yards. Vidal ran for much more. I think I benched Vidal in a league or 2. I wasn't expecting much at all, but
he can play, man. He looks good.
But Vidal is someone that he shows up in tough matchups. In easy matchups, he's done nothing, which is so weird. But yeah, he's talented.
So the last game, the Eagles-Packers game, we spoke so much about early on with my frustrations with it and just our overall disappointment in it and how boring it was. So I don't think we're really need to say much else about the Pack and the Birds, other than that the Birds won. Go Birds! Devontae Smith, game-winning touchdown. Fuck yeah, Slim Reaper. Yeah. Suck it, Edgerrin Cooper. By the way, fuck that guy.
McManus,
very good football player, but fuck Edgerrin Cooper.
Brandon McManus missed that kick by like a foot. He kicked it just willy-nilly when he wasn't allowed to, and then he full-on Mike Vanderjagt missed it by 50 yards to the left. about a minute later, like,
Yeah. The attempt that didn't count almost went in, and the attempt that, like, my wife could have kicked the ball where he kicked it.
I think it was out of the
Yep.
stadium. That's
So
Want to look at a quick preview for next week?
Yeah, man, go for it.
We'll look at, for reference, again, the Bengals, Cowboys, Titans, and Chiefs. Look at those real quick because those were the guys who are on bye. Bengals are at Steelers. Chiefs are at Broncos.
I gotta take time.
Cowboys are at the Raiders on Monday Night Football. And then Titans are Houston is at Tennessee. So those are the 4 teams coming off bye. So keep an eye on Cam Ward, maybe doing a little better against that Houston defense. Bengals, Steelers. Hopefully it's a redemption game for Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. Chiefs going to Mile High Stadium. It's going to be a very good divisional game, but Chiefs are nearly undefeated after buys, so that's going to be probably Chiefs. And then Cowboys coming off bye to Raiders. Maybe Genti has 150 yards, and it's another 3+ game on both sides.
Yeah, hopefully that's a fantasy bonanza for us.
And Monday night, you love seeing that.
Exactly. So many matchups are going to be decided by that.
Yep.
Hopefully Brock Bowers goes back to having a huge game. Shit, I'll even in an emergency I'll roll a guy like Trey Tucker out in that game because it should just be not back and forth. And then Sunday Night Football, you've got the Birds and the Lions too. So
another great game.
Imagine at the end of the 4:00 slate on Sunday, how many matchups will be not even close to be decided yet because you still have Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Raiders for the last 2.
That it's going to be amazing for fantasy. Amazing.
Yet another Sunday and Monday night where I will be up to the very last snap of both games. I'm sure waiting for many, many matchups to be decided.
It's okay. You can skip Sunday morning game. Madrid, you got Commanders, Dolphins, and Madrid. That's at the beginning of the year, I'd be like, yeah, that's going to be a good game. And now I'm like, I'll watch it begrudgingly a little. I'll have it on. I probably won't focus. Right. I'll do other things, but it's going to be a rough game to watch for sure.
Usually the Europe games I've got on the big flat screen in the living room with the surround sound. This one I'll probably have on the iPad on the kitchen counter while I'm making some eggs and not paying. Yeah, I'll probably have like a podcast on and have that game on mute.
Yeah. Then, I mean, it's going to be very some odd matchups. It's an off week, but yeah, we got some huge games. Bears, Vikings, that rivalry game that's going to happen is going to be so much fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that. It's a divisional game. Ravens, Browns. Keep an eye on Browns. Maybe giving the Ravens a little run for their money. Divisional game there is going to be interesting for sure. Yeah.
Niners, Cardinals could be solid for fantasy. I don't think either of them have that good of a defense. The Niners defense took a big hit when Fred Warner went out. He's their, the captain of their defense, and they've been shittier without. The Cardinals defense isn't that good, period. So hopefully Brissett can keep it rolling, keep pumping the passes towards Harrison and Trey McBride. Just love the consolidation for fantasy. And same, hopefully the Niners offense can just pour it back on and we get a high scoring game there. Lowered expectations for that Chiefs Broncos game. Divisional, they just know each other so well. They both have good offensive players, but they also both have pretty solid defenses, and I could see that one being another game where Bo Nix gives us fucking 7 or 8 fantasy points. And sadly, in most of the leagues I have Bo Nix are super flex, so I'm not fucking benching him. Yeah. So I'm just gonna take that 8 points right on the fucking chin.
Yeah, there's a chance. It's a divisional game. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. I think
So-
I think we might be all disappointed with all of our players in that game. Even Mahomes, even Rice. I think we might just be looking at a defensive, gritty battle. I'm not sure how it is in Denver right now, but it got pretty cold and windy and grimy here in Pennsylvania today. It was the first day where I was like flat out chilly walking my dog. I had to put all the winter clothes on, and I was still cold. It was like a 14-degree wind chill. So, yep, we're getting into tougher times weather-wise, which definitely affects the games.
Oh, love me some snowy football. I don't know if it's going to be snowy, but there's Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Philly, Denver. Oh, man. Oh, I'm so excited. It's just football in like a foot of snow is just the perfect recipe. And it probably sucks for fantasy, but is a blast to watch.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
It doesn't always suck. I may point you out to the snow game of many years ago with the Lions at my Eagles, where Shady McCoy, went absolute fucking hamburger.
Yep.
Had like 200 plus yards and multiple touchdowns. It was one of the funnest things I've ever watched on television before.
I was thinking about that game earlier because if it came up, I was going to mention something. So many people were afraid of the weather in the Bears Giants game, but people are like, oh, do I start this guy because it's going to be windy or snowy? The weather, don't let the weather cloud your judgment that bad, because they play through, they push through. The only two games I could ever think of that really had an impact on passing and such was the snow game with the Lions and the Eagles, and there was a rainy game with the Panthers and the Jaguars about 10 years ago. It looked like they were playing in a hurricane. It was the muddiest, sloppiest field I've ever seen in my life. Don't the weather doesn't really screw things up as much as you think. Just start your studs.
Yeah.
The cream, the good will prevail. It's not as big of a factor as we think.
For weather games, start your studs. For me, it's those wide receiver threes, those flex plays, kickers, where I take weather into account. But if you're asking, should I start my stud based upon weather? Yes. Yes. Start those studs. Plain and simple.
Calvin Johnson fell in that game. He had like a whole face mask full of snow. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was like so out of nowhere too. I remember just turning on the game and the field was white. Like, yes.
The downside to that snow game was that was so many years ago. I mean, that was what 12, 15 years, whatever it was. I used to only play in my league of record, and then I had just found that you could join leagues with strangers for money on Yahoo Fantasy. So I had a Yahoo Fantasy team, like a $30 league or something like that, completely drafted online, where I was the fucking 1 seed, and it was mainly because I had the Stafford Megatron stack. Well, that was like week 2 of the playoffs, that snow game in Philly. So Stafford and Calvin Johnson had like nothing. Calvin Johnson had like 1 catch for 20 yards, and Stafford had like 60 yards passing. So, needless to say, I lost the playoffs. Yeah. But as an Eagles fan, watching what Shady did made it a lot easier to stomach.
I'm sure.
All right, man. Well, we cracked the 2 hour mark. I don't think, unless you guys have anything else you want to throw in about these games.
No, it was a great pod as usual. Great week of football. Looking forward to.
It was a decent week of football. Not you Thursday and Monday.
Looking forward to a great week of football.
Yes. Hopefully we get better bookends.
Yep.
Hopefully. Thursday's not looking good. Nah. Monday's okay. Monday might be exciting.
Monday will be exciting for fantasy. Yeah.
Sunday night's going to be probably game of the week.
There's a couple that'll make it.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. Awesome. Well, we will Check you guys out next Tuesday, man. Thanks for tuning in to Blood, Sweat, and Tears with your boys.
Yeah,
Good
have a
luck,
great week.
everyone.